James Ernest of the Grueling Truth here with wrestling coach Greg Jones. Greg, what was it like growing up the middle child?
Well, thank you, James. I don't know. I guess you don't know any different when you've been a middle child your whole life. So I don't know, but it was definitely. I had a great childhood. I had a really great upbringing. It certainly wasn't always easy, but I don't know if you asked for that anyway. So it was good. Just being part of a loving, supportive family was and still is important to me.
Awesome. What originally got you into wrestling?
I started wrestling at a really young age. I was just calling in the sport of wrestling. It's kind of a family sport. My father wrestled. I had some aunts and uncles that wrestled. My older brother wrestled. So it just naturally that's just what I did. That by the time I was old enough to understand and comprehend that you kind of have a say and a choice in what sports you participate in. I had already been wrestling for a long time. It's just kind of part of who I was and what we did in the wintertime.
So the entire family was into wrestling, like you said. Even the aunts and uncles.
Yeah. When we grew up in the country, so if it wasn't wrestling in some formal capacity, then it was probably wrestling a little bit informally. But I had an older sister who was a workout partner for me time to time. None of the females competed in wrestling, but they certainly were part of the sport as well.
What coach had the biggest impact on you?
Yeah, I've been fortunate. My dad coached me all the way up until I was in high school, and he instilled a lot of qualities in us growing up. As far as I don't know about best coach, but definitely the most influential coach that I've had as far as molding me as a wrestler and as a man. And as I grew through the sport, that from a technical standpoint, I see some of the things that Dad had us doing when I was a little kid. I think that speaks to the genius of keeping things simple, follow the right system or process developmentally to reach your athletes. And also my college coach, Coach Craig Turnbull, I wrestled for him for 5 years, coached with him for 10, and really just opened my eyes for what it's like to generally care for a student athlete, not just winning and losing, but certainly taking an interest in them, in their lives as a person and as men, is something that's also invaluable.
What was that recruitment process like? Why did you end up deciding on West Virginia?
Well, I always said whenever I became a recruitable athlete that I was going to keep my options open and see what's out there and visit some other schools. For a couple of things. One, I played 3 sports all through high school, so timing was an issue there. And 2, I don't know how honest that was, but my older brother was at West Virginia. He had a great career there. He grew up there. It's right down the road from hour from where I grew up. So it was just a natural fit. That, if it was good enough and it worked for him, then it certainly could work for me.
Which of your national titles meant the most to you?
I don't know. I don't make those absolute statements too. I try not to anyway, because they're all kind of different. The first one was special in the way that it was the first. The second one was special because it was kind of a redemption in a kind of way after not placing my sophomore year. The third one was kind of confirmation. how I do belong, or I am in this elite group of wrestlers who've done something pretty special in the NCAA tournament. So I don't know. I don't know as far as better. The second one was certainly probably more of a relief than anything. Um, so yeah, they were just all different and special in their own way.
In wrestling with different weight classes, I mean, obviously they all have their benefits and downsides. But which weight class do you feel is that that key area where you get the best combination of strength and speed?
No, but for me or for overall?
Overall.
Overall, yeah. I mean, you're always gonna gravitate somewhere towards the meat of the weight class, somewhere in the middle. College is gonna be 149, 765. You creep up a little higher, up to 74, 84. You still have a lot of the technical aspects. Obviously, you guys are a little bit bigger, a little bit less athletic, generally speaking. But I don't know. I mean, maybe perhaps there's 10 weight classes in college for a reason. I don't know if maybe it's like doing fantasy matchups or something, but I don't know. Especially now anymore across college wrestling, guys are good everywhere anymore. I think the sport's progressively evolved tremendously far, even in the last 5-7 years. That there's quality wrestlers, there's explosive athletic wrestlers, there's technical wrestlers, really across the entire landscape.
How important for sports is it to keep wrestling alive?
I think it's important. I think it's important. I mean, you can't underestimate the power of time spent. 10,000-hour rule, putting diligent, concentrated work in over a longer period of time. And that I don't know a case where that's failed to someone. But at the same time, I really firmly believe that there has to be a healthy balance. As I said before, I played 3 sports all the way up through high school. So as a coach, as a father, if you're asking me, about sports, specializing in a specific sport, my answer would be to hold off on doing that as long as possible. I think just developmentally and just personal development and the transferable skills across different sports. I think you should participate in a wider range of activities as long as you possibly can. So yeah, that's what I believe.
No, more so how for a while there they were worried that wrestling was going to be taken away from the Olympics, that kind of thing. Do you feel the importance of keeping wrestling as an Olympic sport?
Wrestling is the foundation of the Olympics. Wrestling, the sport of wrestling, should be the foundation sport. Wrestling is the first sport that a kid participates in without even knowing it, with their brothers, sisters, friends. I was just having this conversation with another coach yesterday that wrestling, in my mind, wrestling is sport. So to have a sport that historically significant, that impactful across all the nations in the world, particularly whenever you're looking at some of the wrestling powerhouses, some of the Middle Eastern countries, Russian countries, even Western Asian cultures, that wrestling is the foundation of their culture, their civilization. So to have the sport of wrestling omitted from the Olympics, I think, would be a really big tragedy.
You mentioned how you played 3 sports in high school. Did you ever consider a career in a different sport?
Yeah, I always thought that I could play football at an elite level. Actually, somewhat considered playing one season while I was in college. But upon graduation, I was invited to a tryout for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I went out and did a small combine type workout for them. Did my measurements, did my numbers and stuff like that, and was invited back to the same training camp with them. But I was in the middle of the wrestling season, my first season coaching, and something that I never circled back to. But I certainly had a lot of interest in the game of football. I played a lot of baseball growing up. I actually played baseball for a summer between my freshman and sophomore years in college. I just like to stay busy, man. I just enjoyed playing, enjoyed competing.
What position did the Steelers have in mind for you?
I was going to be a defensive back, safety, corner, probably more like a safety. I was an entrant into the 2005 NFL draft. I was a drafted black athlete, which is kind of cool to say.
That is pretty cool. I was going to say, for not playing in college at all, and that they were still considering drafting you. That is quite impressive.
Yeah, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers have always thought outside the box. I think if you watch them over time, they have a very good scout and talent department. And I think Carlton Hatchery was their all-pro defensive tackle. That was a wrestler. Our offensive tackle was a wrestler. Was a Division II and Division I national champion. So over time, they've done that. I think the NFL in general is starting to realize the significance of the sport of wrestling and how well the mental and physical skills transfer over from the wrestling mat to the football field. I think there's a number of guys out there that prove that.
Did you ever consider trying sports entertainment or pro wrestling?
No, I never considered that. That was actually the one thing on TV that we were never allowed to watch growing up. So that was before it got kind of vulgar and ugly too. So I'm just used to thinking that my dad just didn't want us to think that was anywhere close to what we actually did.
What are your thoughts on how some of the people from that sport have tried to start coming into MMA?
Don't get me wrong, those guys are certainly high-level athletes. The things that they're able to do and put their body through is really impressive. But I don't know. That's the beautiful thing about mixed martial arts. The beautiful thing about wrestling, that it's so inclusive that anyone from any walk of life could train, prepare, and participate in some form or fashion. Sometimes we get onto the other side of that where guys are doing it because they have the name and just to cash big checks, which is fine. More power to you, but I think it takes away. In my mind, the sport of MMA is still in its infancy. It's still struggling to get that mainstream credibility. So attracting those type of people will certainly help. I just hope it doesn't delegitimize the progress that this sport has made and is trying to make.
Do you feel having MMA be an Olympic sport would help globalize it?
I don't know. That's a really, really good question. I can't speak as to what the process is into becoming an Olympic sport. So I don't know the challenges that lie there. But I think globally, the sport of MMA certainly already has a global footprint. I don't know. I probably work somewhere between 40 and 50 UFC shows a year. Maybe not that many. Maybe 30 or 40 UFC shows a year. UFC Bellator shows a year. In every city, just kind of a different city, same staff, same coaches, different fighters, and that kind of thing. But whenever I attend an event overseas, the amount of fan participation, involvement, and excitement when we go to some of these countries is absolutely amazing. It's maybe something here in the States that it is so accessible that people kind of take it for granted. But anywhere overseas that I've been, it's truly an event. And I think that's one of the really things that's really cool about the sport and how these organizations have kind of structured themselves.
What was it like coaching at your alma mater?
It was good. Morgantown, West Virginia University is special to me. So, and it always will be. It's where I grew up. It holds kind of a deeper passion and meaning than just a job, just somewhere I worked. Morgantown, my experience there has shaped who I am, who I'm trying to become, and it'll always remain that way.
Was there a wrestler that you coached there at West Virginia that you feel really missed out on their calling to be an MMA fighter?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about anyone specifically, but if you're a wrestler and you want to learn to punch someone in the face, come see us, man. The skills and the things you develop, the mental toughness and all that you develop in the sport of wrestling will take you a long ways in MMA for sure.
So how do you originally get connected with the Black Zillions?
Well, I actually wrestled with Sean Evans in college. Sean Evans, former UFC champ. I wrestled him in '03. And about 5 years later, he invited me down to come help him for one of his training camps. So I came down for a few days, and we just kind of kept in touch, just sporadically. And a few years later, things lined up where I was able to get down here. So since I moved to Florida probably 4 years ago, me and Henry Hoop have started our own team. We have our own gym. And things are kind of taking off way beyond what we initially expected them to. But it's a good thing. We're staying busy. Our fighters are preparing well for our share fights. It's good. And, we've created a really good, a really healthy gym environment. We got really, the right people involved. And we're just getting started, but it's going to be very interesting and fun.
Is that truly the recipe for success, having the right people involved?
For everything, right?
Exactly.
For everything, right? Just can't underestimate it. The situation we were in, team-wise, started to grow kind of toxic, which, I think in those types of situations, people start to just show their true colors, and that's one of the good things about our situation right now, too, is we get to decide, we decide who we train and who we don't want to train. So every walk of life, every profession, it's always going to come down to the people. Always.
You've coached and trained people of all ages and ability levels. With your wrestling camps, what age group are you specifically targeting?
I do a few camps. I do some camps for other people around the country. But my older brother Bertus and I think are in our 16th or 17th year of doing wrestling camp back at home in Pittsburgh. And that's youth and high school wrestlers. I also have a camp started here in South Florida that being that we are in basically an MMA gym, I've opened that up to mixed martial arts fighters as well, or guys that think they want to be fighters at whatever level. So it's going to be a little bit of work structuring it, but I didn't want any limitations for people to attend. for summer camp. So anyone from elementary all the way up to, believe it or not, there's old men out there that still like to rest for some reason. I don't know why, but so we make that available to them.
So when are the camps?
What's that?
When are the camps?
Pretty much all of June. I think we get fired up. I start June 6th, I believe, here in Florida. I go back home, do a week with Vernon in Pittsburgh, and then come back here for a week. So pretty much all throughout the month of June, camping.
So how do people sign up for the camps?
You can go to joneswrestling.com or also joneswrestlingflorida.com. Those two sites will get you all the information you need. You can get the information. You can register there and do all that there.
Excellent. And obviously it'll be you and your brother coaching, but who else is a part of the camps? Who else contributes?
Well, the one in Pittsburgh, my former coach, my brother's former coach, Zeke Jones, who's doing a great job at Arizona State University right now. He had him a national champion, put the team in the top 10 this year. Maybe the most technical mind that you'll ever be around. And in the camp here in Florida that I've basically loaded my camp staff up with all of our UFC guys that have wrestled at one point. Rashawn Evans, Robbie Lawler, Kamaru Usman, Logan Storley, who else? Chad Skelly. There's about 3 or 4 other guys that, we kind of accomplished 2 things there. We could also obviously have a good, healthy wrestling experience, but also have a chance to train alongside some of the guys that you see on TV or you admire as a fighter, as an athlete.
So if fans are wanting to follow you on social media and the web, where should they check you out at?
Yeah, again, the website is joneswrestlingflorida.com. All my Twitter, Instagram is Coach G Jones, G as in Greg, and Greg Jones on Facebook, Jones Wrestling on Facebook. Check it out.
Definitely. We greatly appreciate you being on the show. I want to get your final thoughts on just how wrestling helps make young people physically, mentally, and emotionally stronger.
How does it? That's a long time, but no, just the amount of work and that it takes to be successful, or not even to be successful, to even pursue the sport. It's certainly not an easy sport, and the discipline it takes to participate in the sport. I think more than anything is probably the character it develops. There's going to be losses in life. There's going to be losses in wrestling. But how do we reshape those to allow them to work for us to enhance our development and what type of wrestler and what type of person we'd like to become? So if it's not wrestling, I certainly encourage all kids, all parents to get their kids involved in something similar, or at least an individual sport. I think just holistically speaking, everyone should participate, at least one individual in one team sport, just with all the different dynamics that both bring to the table.
Excellent. I'd like to thank our guest, Greg Jones, wrestling coach, for being on the show today.
All right, man. I appreciate you taking the time to reach out to me, and if I do anything in the future, certainly let me know.
Sounds great. Thank you, Greg.